All right, all right. Welcome, guys. Sunday. Man, it's July 10th already. Can you believe it's already the 10th of July? It is. Summer's just blazing right along, really. It's been a hot one. But finally, we got a little bit of a respite today here in North Carolina. It is finally cooling off a little, and today I think it's like something like 70 degrees, which is only going to last one day. What is it? Currently sitting at 68 currently. 72 was the high today. And we're going to get right back to 82 tomorrow, 91 on Tuesday, so it's going to get right back up there again. But a little calm in between a couple of kind of a thunderstorm type swings. Maybe a little bit more rain today, but it should be dried up tomorrow. Next couple of days are partly cloudy with some sun, and it's gonna be nice. A lot of thunderstorms in this part of the world during the summertime, and it's actually a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch. I like thunderstorms. I don't know if anybody else likes thunderstorms, but I like thunderstorms. The Simulator Concierge, welcome back. Good to see you again, buddy. Sephiris, one of our loyal followers. Always popping in, saying hello. Good to see you, dude. How you doing on this Sunday? David says at 19th of this month he'll get a gigabit internet. Nice. Yep, that's what I'm on. So that's the stuff that's worth getting. It's one of the reasons I'm able to stream in as good a quality as I do, is just that gigabit Ethernet. Really, the internet fiber optic makes it really easy to just blaze the upload rate. So my upload stream rate is pretty good. So I send about between 33 and 34,000 kilobits per second, some megabits per second, and then it gets, compressed down to whatever YouTube likes. Sucking on ice here. Nice little thing to do. Good to see you, Sephiris. And Simulator Concierge says, I've been seeing more and more people do scenery dev streams. Well, I'm a trendsetter. What can I say? You saw it here first. But no, we've got DigiDriver, who you'll see on Twitch from on occasion, has some great content that he's been doing, and I think I might have nudged him back into the game. He's been doing it for a lot longer than I have. He's got more followers and whatnot too. But he's a great source if you're looking for some content of people that do some dev streams. Good old developer mode. This is a track I don't play very much right here, by the way. This is called No One's Hero. It's like it's low, just grooves. Anyway, all right, so let's hop right in. We're gonna do some more work. I've gotten some things done. The airport's in a slightly different state than it was the last time. So just to remind everybody how we go about doing this, I've got just the default sim loaded up right now. Nothing else. You see my frame rate up there in the top left. If you have 2K enabled especially, you can probably read it. It's about 95 frames per second right now we're sitting at. Default airport, absolutely no weather, no traffic, and just the default Cessna 152 loaded up on the ramp. So what I'm going to do is I hit the escape button, come into the options menu. We're going to go general options. Scroll down the left side here to developers, and we want to turn developer mode on. Apply and save. Now we've got the toolbar, the developer toolbar up here at the top. Pretty simple stuff. We go to say dev mode, I think is what that says. It's hidden behind my frames. And open project. Should go right to the last project you opened. Open that up. Then in here in the project editor, you got to open this little thing. Go to Scenery BGL for our scenery editor. It's our co-pilot hopping into the scene here, and we're going to load it into the editor. You should see a whole bunch of things happen here. Oh my gosh, this looks different already. What is this? Where did the photo scenery go? Well, the photo scenery's still there, but now I have an actual We're on an actual ramp. That's right. I went ahead and actually just did it this morning, I think, where I actually plugged in the signature flight support ramp. I did a rough insert of those aprons there. It's not very high quality yet. I haven't done the real detail work, let's say. It does this thing where when you put in a new you load it up first and it does all the altitude changes and everything. It moves the nodes around, which doesn't change the height of anything. It just makes it so there's a bunch of floating nodes, which is kind of annoying. See, all these nodes float. And when you're trying to use top-down view and everything, get right on top of them, it can really mess with the perspective a little bit. So I like to just go in and fix those things out right away. Doesn't change any of the altitudes of any of the stuff you're building or anything, so it's not something that has to be too worried about, but it just cleans up what you're looking at a little bit. All right. Oh, what's this all here? Oh my goodness, there's so much more. I've never seen this before. So I tried something different this time. I did something different this go around with the runway element. So I want to show you guys what I did. Playing with my Honda Jet hat there. You are, aren't you? All right, so here we go. So I've worked all the way over to this side of the airport. There he goes. I should just have a whole stream of watching him do stuff. It's way more interesting than I am. So anyway, I want to show you the ramp work that I did here, and why I haven't done my usual transparency job. But anyway, this is our signature flight support ramp. Whoa, okay, buddy. Easy. Looks nice, I think. Let's see. I have to figure out where that rectangle was. So lock all that up. And so you don't see it. Okay. So if you look through, you got these older pictures of this ramp, which are pretty antiquated. Things aren't really lining up exactly the same as they used to. And the quality of the tarmac isn't that great underneath. But if you go through excuse me. There we go. All right, that's better. So if you look at the textures underneath, it's just not all that great, and I'm probably not going to be using much of it, if any. So like the buildings this one is just ramp, but I covered up the buildings here, and I just didn't think there was really anything there worth doing, so I just wanted to kind of get a feel for what it looked like with these colors. Now these colors I actually I used sort of referencing the Google Earth, the Google Maps colors, which are much more current. They do a lot of like resurfacing and sealing of the asphalt on these ramps, so they really get colored nicer. And you can kind of see this is what the graininess underneath looks like, and I'll probably end up putting something like that down for these over here. It's funny because like you got this fuel farm over here. This is not what it looks like anymore, but this is a fuel tank farm that is now just in the corner over here facing that way. They've kind of reconfigured the whole thing. This is just a bunch of equipment and stuff, and it's a de-ice truck. These are all just trucks, aren't they? Yeah, just de-ice trucks. There's not even a fuel tank there. So there's a self-serve fuel pump over here that I'm gonna put in. This is just really old. Hey, like it? Question? Yep, it's a Honda Jet hat. All right, so yeah, this is the first time I've actually done one of these ramps. Not that it's hard, but I just was just messing around. So anyway, we got some basic rough in of the runway over here. Two different elements here. There's actually three different objects. There's an apron here, an apron here. I'll show you why I did that. And a runway object. Now, I did something a little different this time. I'm going to go ahead and hide this. There's a warning right now, which I'll show you what that is. Alright, so let's just hide that. So in the runway objects here that I've made, let's get rid of taxiways. We got the apron and then the runway. Got them, which is normal. I put the apron in for the blast pad, and the shoulders are all the same color on this runway, which is really nice. And let's see, let's hide it here. See straight through. It's all the same material. It's all just one big piece. Look, you can see through the runway right now. So what I took advantage of this time, and it's something that, you see yourself in there a little bit? Something that I actually want to see what you guys think about this, but so explain to you exactly what I did. So here's the process I used. The first thing I did was I laid down this apron. Gonna hide the runway object. Right, put down this apron for the asphalt border here. It's four corners, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it just sits on top of does all the shoulder and everything like that. That's your basic runway asphalt. And it's got, I colored it and everything. It's actually the same color I used for the taxiway here. I did the basic outline of the taxiway and the taxiway bridge. And this is all the same color. The bridge is different color, but all of this is the same. Basically, it was all laid at the same time. It looks exactly the same in terms of coloration and everything. So they all share those properties. But what I did with the runway is I actually laid it down on top of this, and I used the transparency feature, which means there is no material shown for the runway. You just see straight through to the apron underneath, which means you can see the lines still. You can see the actual tire marks, the rubber marks that are on the runway. And this is what it looks like. I mean, they're a little bit darker if you can see all of these rubber marks here. It's sort of hard to see them through there. So I want to get your guys' opinion if you like it better with transparency, because what I can do, like, everything lines up really nicely except for the center lines. The default center lines they put on don't quite line up with what we've got in real world. And these bars here also kind of aren't quite aligned right, but I don't mind that part as much as I do the center lines. The center lines just look kind of bad. So I can turn the center lines off and then repaint the center lines myself, which is actually something that I'm really thinking about doing. So that's an option. So there's a different method that I used here, and it's not, the only thing that it does is it just takes the default runway surface off. And I don't know if that's going to look good in the long run or not. But it's a different way of showing kind of, and I'll show you where that actually is here. So in your materials, there's just transparent. That's what I did. So now you just don't see the material of the runway anymore. I uncheck it, and then all of a sudden you can see it again. It doesn't change the color really, but it adds the kind of the runway grime, the runway like tire marks, rubber marks part to the beginning and end of the runway. But then it gets in the middle. It kind of, you can see sort of here abruptly. I don't know if there's a line here where it just stops all of that completely, and then it's just the same thing basically. Like down here, if I make it transparent or not, it's actually going to look better if I turn transparency off, because you're going to actually see what the real runway looks like a little bit. But you also get part of the grime, the crud layer of the built-in stuff, and I don't like that all that much, to be honest. So, oof, there's a hiccup there on the sim. So anyway, Tell me which you like better. I can try to... I think there's a way I can add like some rubber marks in manually to this to make them a little darker, but otherwise you don't see... It looks a little too clean in my opinion. That being said, if you turn it off, this is what it'll look like. And I don't know if that looks great either. So now if I turn the apron off, this is... You can see there's not a whole lot of rubber marks on this runway when they took these photos. So that's kind of a problem too. I don't know. So I don't know, guys. What do you like? Do you like it with just the apron underneath and the transparent runway? I'm going to paint over these yellow lines, obviously, so those are going to be looking better. And then I can turn the center lines off. And the way I would do that is you just close the materials, go to markings, and then there's the, where is it? Center dash line. I would turn it off, and then I could just hand paint them myself. Trouble with that is you can see like the photos kind of don't always line up all that great. Like they get us a little bit off, so there would be that little spot there, but I could lay it so that all the center lines are exactly where they are. That will look really nice. So there's that. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, is I can do some nice stuff with the tire marks. So that's some options. This is what it looks like. It looks okay to me. So I'll have to paint this because it doesn't do it itself. Yeah, that was pretty easy. That was easy. So I'll paint the yellow lines on top, do the shoulder marks and stuff like that. So this is the next part that I did. Into the taxiways, the ramps off. Not on Kilo. On Kilo 2. Okay, so this is just a very brief. I just laid this in. I didn't have a whole lot of time to go and do the finer points, and I just did a kind of a rough outline of this taxiway. This is taxiway Delta, Delta 1. This is hotel. So I'm gonna have to go through and do all the little curves. The trouble with Microsoft Flight Simulator is that you can't do holes in aprons. So I have to cheat a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. There's one spot. There's a big hole. So there's this part right here. What am I doing? So this is this part right here, which in X-Plane 11, World Editor, they have a tool where you can cut out holes from aprons. Microsoft doesn't have that. So I'll have to make a trick where I have two little different edges that kind of fold over right here. Like one will come down this way and here, and then the other one will come down this way and kind of overlap it just a little bit. So it'll look like it's a hole, but it's two surfaces. But the way that it draws these aprons and paints them on, it'll make it look like completely seamless once in the sim, which I think is nice. You'll see an edge, a seam there with the little outlines, but that doesn't mean anything. So yeah, so that's where we're at. I did a ton of light work, so all of these lights here on this side are done now. The night lighting around all the taxiways that I've completed. See all those yellow marks there? Sort of depict that. That's the wrong one. So nighttime mode, you got, I don't know if you can even see it, but they're there. I got them turned on so they're not very bright. crank down the intensity of the lights. Anyway, they're all there. At the edges of the ramps with their lights. I like doing lights. I think lights are fun. Alright, so no lights on this side of the airport yet, obviously, but I did do the pappies. If you haven't seen me do pappies before, I can do them really. I can show you really quick how to do them. They're really easy. All right, so the next step, and actually, I want to sort of fade the music out. Stop that for now. Close that up. I'm going to go back to my kind of default. I haven't done this in a while, actually, I realized. My live ATC. Let's see, should be that. No? Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm trying to get my live ATC stream going here. The feed. I feel like every time I open something and I want to control sound, I have to fumble around like an idiot here in Flight Sim. Now it's playing.
Columbia 00 Bravo, clear direct Barrett's Mountain. All right, direct Barrett's Mountain, 00 Bravo.
There we go.
And if we could get direct G now, that'd be great. Yeah, bye.
Plus plus. Yeah, I get you. All right, so let's change into top-down camera mode. We'll go hammer out some of these taxiway options. It's a Sunday, man. It's supposed to be kind of just a chill, relaxed day, right? All right, so what I want to make sure I do is lock these runway elements because I don't want to accidentally pull an edge or anything. Select something that I'm not meaning to select. So this is the cool thing about Microsoft, the way Microsoft Flight Simulator draws these things, and the fact that you can do them in sim is I can pull an edge, and I can see the edge of the painted thing as it moves, and I can line it right up because it kind of snaps. It's very snappy. So that will snap to the object, and then I can see that the seam is sort of closed out. That way, everything. It doesn't matter what if these lines are lining up or not. So there's sometimes a benefit. I don't usually adjust these things in with the actual surfaces being drawn because it's really hard to see through. So I like to undraw the surface and then pull the edges. But when there is some benefit to doing it with the edges drawn sometime, with the surface drawn sometimes, as opposed to not. So there's that. Okay. Anyway, so I turn them off for now. I select this one here. I want to add a point. We're gonna be weird like that, aren't we? Okay, so in there, select that point on the line. Add point. Why are we not adding points? Ugh, we're
Crescent 2194, I
being weird.
cancellation received. Thank you. Good day.
Let's do a little further down. Add point. There we go. So now this point, I'll bring down here. Add another point in. Add down here. This is all just rough edges here. This isn't exact. This isn't the final, by any means, the final edit of this. But it's good to get them in there. And then do the fine tuning after. It's kind of what my process here.
722 Sierra Golf, Greensboro approach. Number 2 Sierra Golf, IFR cancellation received. Squawk DFR frequency change approved today.
By the way, I've been doing a ton of training on the radar position lately. I have 2 trainees right now who are both, actually as of my last shift on Thursday. My last full shift on Thursday, daytime, like shift during normal business hours, because I worked a midnight shift on Thursday night also. But I have 2 trainees on the radar positions, the south radar position at Greensboro. So I spent the entire week training, and it's a great experience to be able to get in there and get some brand new FAA blood and work with them as they kind of figure out trying to earn their radar ticket for the first time.
Mooney 5749 X-ray.
It
Greensboro
is
departure, Greensboro altimeter 3004.
sometimes challenging, but it is also rewarding, I think, because that you're getting guys kind of started really building the foundation for helping them build a foundation for themselves on they're going to use for the rest of their career. So it's a rather influential point of somebody's career. So I wield all sorts of power. There we go. So anyway, teaching is fun. That's why I like being a trainer at work. I also coach, coach youth sports. So it's all fun. Am I a particularly good motivator? I don't know about that, but I do enjoy getting to add my little perspective on things. Having strong opinions means you have to be able to defend them if you want them to spread to other people. I think that's all teaching. Sharing your perspective, sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, I guess, things you've acquired over a career. And I've got 12 and a half years in this. This is it's a lot of work. A lot of things I've seen in 3 different facilities. I've seen things, man.
Columbia 6500 Bravo, contact Atlanta Center 125.15.
I trained this guy actually for a while. I wasn't his official trainer, but I did a lot of his training. All right, we're getting close to the end of this taxiway. This is all just the rough placements of objects, of corners, vertices.
Greensboro approach, good afternoon, Arrow 27 Golf Sierra, level 4000. Arrow 27 Golf Sierra, Greensboro approach, Greensboro altimeter 3004. 3004, 27 Golf Sierra. Greensboro departure radar contact, climb and maintain 12000.
12000, I 45 now.
Trying to think who that other voice was. I know who it is, but wow. I did his first. I did both of these guys actually. I've trained both of them. It's a lot of newer guys at our facility. I'm rather senior. For only being in 12 and a half years, I'm number 6 out of like 32, so in seniority, which is something that doesn't happen everywhere. It's not necessarily normal for someone who's as has as many years as me to be that senior, but we had a whole lot of guys retire.
Envoy 4059, turn left direct.
It's not
Left direct.
long after I
Envoy
got here.
4059.
I guess I drove them all away. Sorry. So this is the sort of the trick I was talking about. I'm gonna overlap these corners here. So that you can't tell there's a seam. Alright. So that jeez. Throat. So this should already look quite a bit better. So now you can see the grass through the taxiway. Go ahead and draw the surface on, go into inspector mode. Hey, that looks more like a runway and a taxiway down, doesn't it? Seems like a job well done, huh? So, I don't know if you guys saw what this looked like, what the terrain looked like here before I put this runway on, but it was all sorts of hills. I think the DEM data that they use is several years old, like probably 10, 20 years old. It was taken from a time before this runway was even there.
Arrow 7 Golf Sierra, clear to the Stanley County Airport via radar vectors. Turn 30 degrees left vector to final approach course.
30 degrees
All right,
left,
David, don't be
vector to final approach course. 27 Golf
offended if I don't respond to your Discord things too quickly. I've got streamer mode turned on, so I don't get any sort of oral alerts or anything like that when I get new messages. I'm not purposely ignoring you. Anyway, what was I saying? So the runway, when you lay down a runway, it automatically, it's not completely 100% flat, but it flattens the heck out of the ground next to it. So everything here is just very, very flat. And this is the high end down here at the bottom. The low end is way down there, but it's so flat now.
4059, contact Atlanta,
So
128.8.
like that is
28.8, we'll see.
a very, very flat runway.
See ya.
So that is going to be one of the things I'm going to show you guys too, is how to do a runway profile. I've already done a runway profile on this runway. You guys don't know that because you didn't see me do it. But so now you can kind of see that this runway has some bow. There's the high end here. It kind of bows down to the bottom and comes up just a little bit. It has a little bit of life to it. That is actually, I think these two runways are much less interesting than this runway is over here. This one has some serious slope to it. So when I go through and do it, there's going to be a lot of data to put in. And I'll show you my method for doing that. Other people might have different ones, but I'm trying to kind of capture the contour here. And I'm going to have to do the same technique with this runway to try to get the high points and the low points of the terrain to kind of mesh. I'm going to have to do it with this taxiway. This one gets all warped because it's, again, I don't think it was in the DEM data. And you can see what I'm talking about not being in the data. This is all just looks like hills. I mean, there's a big old bump here. There's a big old bump there. Like, this stuff was all here already and it was flat. But then they added this taxiway, which cut out this whole part here. This is actually has a slope to it, and it's flatter here, and then kind of humps up here. It's all very strange. I don't understand exactly how they did it, or why they did it, but it needs to be definitely some terraforming going on. So there you go, the south, I guess we call this the sort of the northwest runway, because if you look at the airport from this perspective, north going up, I guess it's more like that, but oh, that was interesting. Did it again. This sort of the northwest, I guess, runway. But yeah, it's cool having all that all in there. So yeah, so the transparency of the runway thing. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know if anybody notices any difference or anything, but so there's that. So those a couple of the techniques I've used for doing all this. I tried to do it so there's no seam between the apron object and the runway object that I did here, the taxiway object and the runway object. I don't think you can see any sort of seam there, and there's no doubling up of textures or anything. I'll use the same technique that I did on the other runway for laying the lights, the threshold lights here. And because there's such a blast pad here, there's embedded approach lights. I'm going to try to use the approach lights that are built in because those are I don't want to have to program my own approach lights. That sounds like a nightmare. Oh, PC update. So I was playing PUBG last night with some buddies, and my stream PC video card just said, just went. So I'm playing the game right here on the screen that that I'm recording right now. I didn't record it, and the other two screens went black. But my mouse and keyboard, which run on the stream PC and are KVM'd over to the gaming PC, were still working fine. And I'm like, well, that means the streamer's still running, because if the streamer died turned off completely, all that connection issues, then I wouldn't be able to use my mouse and keyboard still. So it was still running. It's just the video card just, I couldn't get it to start back up. That's the same video card that I've had trouble with in the past, that you'll see Twitch, that some of my, you won't see them because they're not there anymore, but I did some Twitch streams of me trying to repair